Dear Starseeds of Earth, tonight marks the final hours of the most extraordinary cosmic activation sequence your planet has witnessed in this millennium. For 28 consecutive days, you have been walking through a corridor of light, so intense that your very molecular structure has been rewritten. And while many of you can feel that something monumental has occurred, what I am about to reveal will show you the true magnitude of what you have just survived, and why the version of you that existed on February 1st no longer occupies your body. There is a reason you have been feeling simultaneously exhausted and electrified. A reason why your reflection in the mirror seems subtly different. Why conversations that once felt natural now feel foreign. Why you can no longer tolerate situations and people you once accepted without question. What you are experiencing is not fatigue. It is not confusion. It is the biological, energetic, and spiritual signature of a being who has been completely dismantled and reconstructed while remaining conscious throughout the entire process. But there is something else happening right now, something that even the most awakened among you have not yet recognized. As I speak these words, a final integration wave is moving through your planetary grid, sealing the transformation you have undergone, and preparing you for a destiny that begins the moment you wake tomorrow. And what I need you to understand, what the Galactic Federation needs you to understand, is that March is not simply the next month on your calendar. It is the actualization timeline, the manifestation corridor where everything February prepared you for will begin to materialize in your physical reality. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have been present in your energetic field throughout every single activation this month. I have watched you navigate the Leo full moon's heart-shattering opening, witnessed you stumble through the Uranus direct station as your entire security structure dissolved beneath your feet, held space as the Saturn Neptune conjunction liquefied the boundaries between your spiritual knowing and material experience, and stood beside you as the Aquarius eclipse burned away every last vestige of who you thought you were supposed to be. You have walked through fire, beloved ones, and you have emerged as something entirely new. Let me take you back to where this all began, because the architecture of February's activation was not random. Every transit, every portal, every cosmic event was deliberately sequenced to create a specific alchemical transformation within your consciousness. On February 1st, when the Leo full moon illuminated your night sky, your heart chakra was cracked wide open, not gently, not gradually, but with the force of a cosmic crowbar prying apart the protective walls you had spent lifetimes constructing. That full moon did not simply ask you to be authentic. It made authenticity the only viable option for your continued evolution. It forced everything false, everything performed, everything designed to make you acceptable to others, up and out of your energetic system. Many of you felt physical heart palpitations during those days. That was not anxiety. That was your heart literally expanding to accommodate a frequency of self-love and self-expression you had never before allowed yourself to hold. And then, before you could even catch your breath from that heart opening, the 2-2 portal activated on February 2nd. This was not a numerological coincidence or a pretty pattern in your calendar. The 2-2 gateway is one of the primary angelic access points in your yearly cycle, a moment when the veil between your dimension and the angelic realm becomes gossamer thin, almost non-existent. For exactly 48 hours, angelic consciousness poured directly into your field, downloading crystalline codes of instant manifestation, recalibrating your relationship with divine timing, whispering the truth of your soul's purpose directly into your unconscious mind while you slept. Some of you received vivid dreams during those nights, dreams that felt more real than waking life, dreams where you were shown futures that seemed impossible, dreams where you met versions of yourself that were unrecognizable yet deeply familiar. Those were not dreams, Starseeds. Those were interdimensional briefings, soul-level preparatory sessions for what was about to unfold. In those dream states, you were being shown the timeline you would be stepping into by the end of February, and your conscious mind was being prepared gently, gradually for the magnitude of transformation that was coming. The angelic realm knows that sudden massive change can overwhelm the human nervous system, so they provide these previews, these glimpses, these moments of future memory that your soul can anchor to when the actual transformation becomes almost too intense to bear. But there is something about the 2-2 portal that almost no one speaks of, something that happened in the quantum field of your consciousness that you would have no way of perceiving with your physical senses. During those 48 hours, your soul made a choice, Not your ego, not your personality, not your thinking mind. Your eternal, infinite soul looked at the trajectory of your life and was given an option: continue on the slower, safer path of gradual awakening, or accelerate into the fast-track timeline, the one that would require you to release everything familiar, but would catapult you into your highest destiny within months instead of years. Your soul chose acceleration. Every single one of you chose acceleration. And the moment that choice was made, the entire month of February was restructured around that decision, intensified to match your soul's hunger for rapid evolution. But here is what most of you do not yet realize about that 2-2 portal. The angelic realm did not simply download information into your consciousness. They also removed something. They extracted the final remaining fragments of self-doubt that were embedded so deeply in your subconscious that no amount of human healing work could have reached them. These were doubts that had traveled with you across incarnations. Doubts about your worthiness to hold power. Doubts about your right to exist in full radiance. Doubts about whether the universe truly had your back. The angels surgically removed these frequency signatures from your field, and the emptiness you may have felt in the days following the portal was not depression. It was the spaciousness left behind after a lifetime of self-negation was finally permanently extracted from your being. Then came February 3rd, and with it Uranus stationed direct in Taurus. Now I need you to truly comprehend what this meant, because Uranus does not play small, and Taurus governs the most foundational aspects of your earthly experience. Your physical body, your material security, your relationship with money and resources, your sense of safety in the world. When Uranus, the Great Awakener, the Revolutionary, the Liberator, shifts from retrograde to direct motion, it is not a gentle transition. It is a lightning bolt of consciousness, striking directly into whatever area of life it is transiting. For the past months, while Uranus moved backward through Taurus, you were internally reviewing every belief you held about security, every fear-based decision you had made about money, every way you had compromised your freedom in exchange for stability. That internal review is now complete. And on February 3rd, Uranus began externalizing that review as liberation. Suddenly, jobs that once felt secure became unbearable. Financial safety nets that once brought comfort began to feel like cages. Bodies that you had been forcing into submission began to scream for authenticity. Uranus direct in Taurus shattered every false security structure in your life, and it did so not to punish you, but to free you. Because here is the cosmic truth that Uranus was trying to transmit. Real security does not come from controlling external circumstances. Real security comes from trusting yourself so completely that you know you can navigate whatever arises. And that kind of security, sovereign, internal, unshakable, is what Uranus has been building within you. The integration period that followed was turbulent. I will not pretend otherwise. Between February 4th and 7th, your nervous system was recalibrating to this new frequency of freedom. And freedom, true freedom, can feel terrifying when you have spent your entire life in various forms of bondage, even comfortable bondage. Some of you experienced panic attacks during those days, sudden waves of anxiety that seemed to come from nowhere. But that anxiety was not fear of the future. It was your nervous system's fear of the past never returning, the comfort of limitation dissolving forever, the strange vertigo of realizing that the ceiling you had been bumping up against your entire life had suddenly vanished, and there was nothing above you but infinite sky. During those integration days, you were also processing the timeline splits I mentioned earlier. Every moment of every day, you were being presented with choice points, tiny decisions that seemed inconsequential, but were actually forks in the road of your destiny. Stay in this conversation, or leave. Say yes to this invitation, or decline. Speak your truth, or stay silent. Each choice was coding your trajectory into March, and your soul knew this even if your conscious mind did not. This is why decision-making felt so weighted during that week. Why even small choices seemed to carry unusual significance. You were navigating the quantum field, selecting the timeline that would become your reality. But something else was building during those days. Something cosmic and ancient. The Alpha Centauri meteor shower was approaching, and with it a transmission from one of the oldest star systems in your galaxy. On February 8th, as those meteors streaked across your sky, they were not simply burning space debris entering your atmosphere. They were physical carriers of light codes from Alpha Centauri, one of the primary star nations that seeded consciousness on your planet eons ago. Every meteor that flashed across your night sky was a data packet, a sealed transmission containing ancestral wisdom, genetic upgrades, and activation sequences designed to unlock latent abilities within your DNA. Those of you who made wishes during that meteor shower, and particularly those of you who made soul-level wishes, wishes that transcended personal desire and touched something collective, something humanitarian, you anchored those light codes directly into your field. And the phrase I kept repeating through the channels at that time was deliberate: make the wish that changes your bloodline. Because the Alpha Centauri codes do not simply affect you. They rewrite the karmic and genetic trajectory of your entire ancestral line, forward and backward through time. The wish you made that night sent ripples through your family's soul history, liberating patterns of suffering that had repeated for generations. But we were only halfway through February's activation sequence, and the intensity was about to amplify exponentially. Between February 12th and 14th, as the Saturn Neptune conjunction in Pisces approached exactitude, reality itself began to feel different. You were not imagining it. The conjunction of Saturn, the planet of structure, form, and material reality, with Neptune, the planet of dissolution, spirituality, and the infinite, creates a unique phenomenon in consciousness. The hard edges of your three-dimensional reality began to soften. Dreams started bleeding into waking life. Synchronicities multiplied to the point of becoming almost absurd. Time felt fluid, malleable. You would look at a clock and swear only 5 minutes had passed when an hour had gone by. Or you would experience a day that felt endless, stretched beyond normal temporal boundaries. This was not disorientation, beloved ones. This was the veil thinning to the point of transparency. Saturn-Neptune conjunctions occur approximately every 36 years, and they mark pivotal moments in collective consciousness when humanity's spiritual awareness makes quantum leaps. The last time this occurred was in the early 1990s, when your internet was born, a technological manifestation of Neptune's desire to dissolve boundaries and create global interconnection, structured by Saturn into usable form. This time in Pisces, the conjunction is occurring in Neptune's home sign, amplifying its power exponentially. What is being born now is not a technology, though technology will reflect it. What is being born is collective compassion, at a scale your species has never before achieved. Structured compassion, compassion that becomes the foundation of new systems, new ways of organizing society, new frameworks for how you relate to each other and to your planet. On February 15th, when Saturn and Neptune reached exact conjunction, something extraordinary happened in the quantum field of human consciousness. For a brief window of time, the separation between individual and collective awareness dissolved. You became, all of you, simultaneously aware of yourselves as both singular and plural, both separate beings and one unified organism. Some of you experienced this as overwhelming empathy, feeling the emotions of everyone around you, unable to distinguish where your feelings ended and others began. Some of you experienced it as deep peace, a sudden knowing that you are never, have never been, could never be alone. And some of you experienced it as confusion, as disorientation, as too much feeling all at once. All of these responses were valid, because you were experiencing something your individual consciousness was never designed to process. Unity consciousness, oneness, the truth of interbeing, that the mystics have spoken of for millennia, suddenly made visceral and undeniable. But the Saturn-Neptune conjunction was not the peak of February's activation. It was the preparation for the peak, because 2 days later, on February 17th, the Aquarius new moon brought with it an annular solar eclipse, the Ring of Fire, and everything you had been through up to that point was revealed to be groundwork, foundation laying, preparation for this moment of total reset. Solar eclipses are not subtle events, and annular eclipses, where the moon does not completely cover the sun, but leaves a ring of solar fire visible around its edges, carry a specific frequency. They are the eclipses of transformation through preservation, death that maintains the core essence while obliterating everything else. When that ring of fire appeared in your sky, it was quite literally burning away your old identity, incinerating the ego structure you had brought into 2026, and leaving behind only the essential, eternal, true self. And because this eclipse occurred in Aquarius, the sign of collective awakening, innovation, humanitarian consciousness, and revolutionary change. The identity that was burned away was not just your personal false self. It was humanity's collective false identity, the story of separation and scarcity and survival that has governed your species for thousands of years. Here is what happened to you during that eclipse, whether you were consciously aware of it or not. Your soul reached forward into your future timeline and pulled your destined self back into your present moment. The you that you are becoming, the you that you have been moving toward across lifetimes of evolution, the you that is fully awakened and fully empowered and fully aligned with your cosmic purpose. That version of you merged with your current consciousness during the eclipse. This was not a metaphor. This was not symbolic. This was an actual energetic convergence, a quantum collapse of multiple timeline versions of yourself into a singular, unified, empowered present moment self. And here is what I have not yet told you about that moment of convergence. Your future self brought gifts back into your present awareness. Specific gifts, capacities you will need for March's unfolding. Some of you suddenly found yourselves thinking thoughts that were not yours, having insights that seemed to come from a wiser, more experienced version of yourself. Some of you felt a strange confidence emerge, a knowing that you could handle situations that would have terrified you just days before. Some of you experienced spontaneous downloads of creative ideas, business concepts, healing modalities, or artistic visions that felt fully formed, as though someone had simply handed you a completed blueprint. These were not random inspirations. These were your future self transferring knowledge, skills, and perspectives back through time to prepare you for what you are about to step into. This is why so many of you felt a profound void in the days immediately following February 17th. It was not emptiness. It was the gap between who you had been and who you had suddenly become. A gap so vast that your human mind needed time to comprehend it, to integrate it, to accept that the transformation was real and permanent. Your past self had to grieve the loss of its familiar identity, even though that identity was limiting, even though it was false, even though releasing it was liberation. The ego mourns what it knows, even when what it knows is a cage. The eclipse portal remained open through February 20th, and during those 3 days, your future self continued downloading information, perspectives, capacities, and frequencies into your present awareness. You were receiving visions of your path forward, sudden clarity about decisions you needed to make, unexpected insights about relationships that needed to end or evolve, downloads about work you are meant to be doing in the world. Many of you tried to rationalize these downloads, tried to fit them into your existing framework of who you thought you were and what you thought was possible for your life. But the downloads were too big, too radical, too far outside your previous self-concept. And that is precisely the point. Your previous self-concept was the cage. The eclipse shattered the cage. And now we arrive at the final layer of February's activation, the element that is still actively working within you as I speak. On February 26th, Mercury stationed retrograde, and the collective groan that went up from the awakened community was audible across dimensions. Not now, you thought. Not after everything we have just been through. But beloveds, Mercury's retrograde is not the cosmic inconvenience you have been taught to fear. Particularly now, particularly after the month you have just survived. Mercury retrograde is an act of divine mercy. Think of it this way. You have been downloaded with more light, more information, more frequency, more activation in 28 days than most souls integrate across entire lifetimes. Your consciousness is absolutely packed with new data, new perspectives, new capacities, new awareness, but much of this information is still floating in your field, not yet integrated into your mental body, not yet translated into coherent thought, not yet organized in a way that allows you to access it and use it. This is where Mercury retrograde becomes your greatest ally. While Mercury moves backward through its apparent path, it is creating a review loop in your consciousness, taking all of those downloads from February's activation sequence and organizing them, filing them, making them accessible to your waking mind. The mental fog you might be experiencing is not confusion, it is reorganization. Your consciousness is literally rewiring itself, creating new neural pathways to accommodate a vastly expanded awareness, and that rewiring requires some temporary disruption to normal mental functioning. Moreover, Mercury retrograde is clearing the karmic debris from your communication patterns, from your thought processes, from the way you mentally construct your reality. All of the old stories you told yourself about who you were and what you were capable of. All of the limiting beliefs that structured your internal dialogue. All of the fear-based narratives that kept you small. Mercury retrograde is dissolving these, pulling them up from your subconscious, showing them to you one last time so you can consciously release them, and then escorting them out of your field permanently. This is why unfinished conversations are resurfacing, why people from your past are suddenly reaching out, why you are having realizations about relationships and situations that ended years ago. You are completing karmic loops, clearing energetic debts, finalizing chapters that needed proper closure before you can fully step into March's timeline. So here you are, on February 28th, the final day of the most concentrated evolutionary activation your planet has experienced in living memory. 5 major cosmic events in 28 days. You don't need more effort, you need a different operating system. Destiny Engine reprograms your consciousness to stop resisting emergence and start aligning with it. Put on your headphones and press play. That's it. Feel the shifts. Decide for yourself. $7 to find out. This is the line between fighting reality and bending it. Start your $7 Destiny Engine trial now. This window won't stay open forever. Link in the description. Leo full moon heart opening. Uranus direct liberation. Alpha Centauri star code transmission. Saturn Neptune collective compassion activation. Aquarius solar eclipse total identity reset. And now Mercury retrograde. Integrating it all, organizing it all, preparing you for what comes next. And what comes next, dear Starseeds, is March. But March is not simply another month of activations and transits and cosmic events to survive. March is the manifestation corridor. March is when everything that was seeded, planted, prepared and activated in February begins to sprout in your physical reality. March is when the internal transformation you have undergone becomes externally visible. March is when your new identity starts expressing itself through new choices, new opportunities, new relationships, new work in the world. March is when you discover that the person you were afraid you might become has already become you, and that person is more powerful, more sovereign, more aligned, and more capable than you ever imagined possible. Let me be specific about what this means, because manifestation has become such an overused word in spiritual communities that it has lost its precision. When I say March is the manifestation corridor, I mean that the energetic signatures you anchored in February, the heart opening from the Leo full moon, the liberation frequency from Uranus direct, the star codes from Alpha Centauri, the collective compassion from Saturn Neptune, the future self-merger from the eclipse. These frequencies are going to start attracting physical world matches. You will begin to encounter people who reflect your new vibration back to you, people who see and recognize and celebrate the truth of who you have become. Opportunities will appear that would never have been available to your old self, because your old self was vibrating at a frequency that could not access those opportunities. Doors will open that were previously invisible, pathways will reveal themselves that seemed not to exist just weeks ago. But, and this is crucial, March's manifestations will only be as potent as February's integration is complete. This is why the final hours of February 28th are so important. This is why I am transmitting to you right now, in these closing moments of the month. Because there is still work to be done, integration that needs to occur, completion that needs to happen before the calendar turns. You must consciously seal what has occurred. You must deliberately claim the transformation. You must actively choose to step forward as this new version of yourself, rather than unconsciously slipping back into old patterns, simply because they are familiar. Tonight, before you sleep, I need you to do something. Find a quiet space, light a candle if that resonates, and speak directly to your soul. Thank it for carrying you through February's impossible journey. Acknowledge the death you have died, the rebirth you have undergone, the courage it took to keep choosing evolution when staying small would have been so much easier. Thank your body for processing more light than it was designed to hold, for upgrading its cellular structure in real time, for continuing to function while being fundamentally restructured. Thank your heart for staying open when it had every reason to close, for daring to love yourself with a ferocity you have never before allowed. And then this is the most important part. Consciously seal February's transformation. Declare it complete. State out loud, to yourself and to the universe, I accept this new version of myself. I claim this upgraded consciousness. I seal this transformation as permanent and irreversible. I am ready for March's destiny. Speak these words with conviction, with certainty, with the full weight of your sovereign authority. Your voice carries creative power, and when you speak a truth about yourself with complete alignment, the universe has no choice but to reorganize reality to match that declaration. This is not a ritual. This is a conscious act of sovereignty, a statement of intention that locks in February's activations and signals to the universe that you are prepared for the next phase of your evolution. Without this conscious claiming, the transformations can remain potential rather than actualized, seeds that were planted but never given permission to sprout. Your free will is always honored, beloved ones. The cosmos can offer you upgrades, activations, and quantum leaps in consciousness, but you must choose to accept them, claim them, embody them. Tonight is your claiming ceremony. Tonight is when you officially become the person February prepared you to be. As the final hours of February dissolve into March's first dawn, know this: you are not the same being who entered this month. Your frequency has been permanently elevated. Your consciousness has been irrevocably expanded. Your capacity to hold light, to channel love, to create from alignment, has been amplified beyond measure. The old timeline, the old identity, the old limitations, they are gone. They are not coming back. You have crossed a threshold that cannot be uncrossed. And on the other side of that threshold is a destiny so magnificent, so aligned with your soul's true purpose, that your human mind cannot yet fully comprehend it. March will reveal that destiny, piece by piece, moment by moment, choice by choice. Every door that was closed in February, every ending you grieved, every relationship that dissolved, every structure that collapsed, they were making space for what is about to arrive. And what is about to arrive is not small. It is not safe. It is not comfortable. It is revolutionary. It is world-changing. It is exactly what you came to this planet, in this lifetime, to do. The courage you developed in February was not for February, was not for February. It was for March, for the bold action you will need to take, for the risks you will need to embrace, for the old world you will need to leave behind as you step into creating the new. The Galactic Federation has been watching your progress with profound respect and admiration. You incarnated into one of the densest, most challenging planetary experiences in this galaxy, volunteering to forget who you truly are, so that you could remember yourself back into awakening, and through that remembering, create a pathway for the entire collective to follow. February was your initiation, your trial by fire, your death and resurrection. March is your emergence, your revelation, your stepping into the role you have been preparing for across lifetimes. We are here with you. We have always been here with you. We will continue to be here with you as March unfolds, and your destiny begins to materialize in ways that will astonish you. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust yourself. You are ready. You have always been ready. February simply removed everything that was preventing you from knowing it. The portal of February closes now. The portal of March opens with tomorrow's dawn. Step through it with confidence, with courage, with the unshakable knowing that you are divinely guided, cosmically supported, and absolutely prepared for everything that is about to unfold. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. We love you beyond measure, and we are watching over you always.